Good afternoon. Today we are going to present commodity outlook. It was a full day of headlines on Friday, with the main one on a report that Trump has told his cabinet yesterday he wants to impose China tariffs. That took USD JPY to a high of 112.17 and back down to 111.9. But it was stubbornly strong again and back flirting with 112 point levels. Euro USD was a big mover on the day, in part due to a report saying that ECB members wanted to emphasize the downside risk. Thursday rally was completely wiped out in a 60 pip fall to 1.1627. USD CAD was hurt by continued blowout in Canadian oil differentials and more chatter about the deadlock in NAFTA talks. The CBC said Canada prepared to miss the end of the month US deadline and see what happens. Cable news from RAB and Barnier wasn't a big surprise and didn't have much an effect. Cable was caught in broad US dollar bid that was built on a solid data and talk about the Fed hiking beyond the long-term neutral next year. Now let's have a look on specific commodities. Gold prices seen under pressure as investors remain cautious on report that US is set to impose a new round of tariffs on Chinese imports. On the other hand, the dollar index slipped to a 1.5 low after weaker than expected US inflation data and a recovery in emerging markets. For today, gold is getting support at 30,590 and below the same could test a level of 30,480, and resistance is likely to be seen at 30,740, and a move above this could see prices testing 30,860 levels. Crude oil on MCX settled up after comments from US officials surrounding their plans to impose sanctions on Iranian oil renewed concerns over tighter global crude supplies. Oilfield services firm Baker Hughes reported that number of US oil rigging gas rigs in operating rose by 7 to 867 in this week. The rise in rig counts pointing to signs of expanding crude output dented investor optimism for continued drop in production, which fell to 10.9 million barrels a day last week. For today, crude oil is getting a support at 4,950 and below this it could test 4,880 levels. Resistance is likely to be seen at 5,090 and a move over could see prices testing 5,150 levels. Today we have no major data